I want everybody to hit the like, hit the subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on X, Twitter, at the Real King Andre. I need to get my Twitter X followers up, so when I start getting ready to do my live conversations, I ain't got to worry about YouTube taking the video down for hate speech or none of that crazy stuff. Now, I'm gonna not do a whole lot of talking in this video. I'm going to be giving a breakdown of the big Montgomery Brawl that happened last year. I actually made the video last year, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background before I played the video. I wanted to upload it last year, I just never got around to doing it. But yeah, I saw a lot of people saying this is the 1 year anniversary a few weeks ago. It was like, I think it was August 5th last year when the Montgomery Brawl happened. Everybody knows about the Montgomery Brawl. If you don't, you're living under a rock. But this video is for the deep thinking Negro, okay? If you're not a Negro, you can still watch the video, of course, but I want the black people that actually have a strong mind to totally analyze what I say and who I present in this video, because it's a lot of black people who still don't get it. The way y'all was celebrating and twerking and dancing and making shirts, we got a long way to go. Y'all know my motto: the smart black people have to rise up and be louder than the not so smart black people. The smart black people got to be louder and more aggressive than the stupid black people. It's just what it is. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, comment. Follow me on Twitter, The Real King Andre. Follow me on Twitter, The Real King Andre.
So as we all are aware, there was a massive brawl that took place out in Montgomery, Alabama a few weeks ago. It was probably the most heavily viewed story of the year so far. I mean, it was just all over the internet. And, you know, the dock worker who got attacked and, you know, the beat down that ensued of the family that tried to, you know, jump them. I mean, they got what they deserved. That's all good. But the celebratory antics that I have seen from this incident are very disturbing, because I get the significance of it. A lot of black people feel like, you know, we got one up on the white supremacists. You know, this was for the ancestors. You know, they effed around and found out. I mean, folks is dancing and making shirts and making all these memes. And I mean, like I said, I get it. It's the internet. Some people gonna have fun and do little stuff like that, but making shirts and hoodies and stuff, I mean, I don't know. And I don't know if all these shirts and hoodies made are real or not. Some of them are real, but it really wasn't nothing to be celebrated to the level that people are celebrating. And I'm gonna tell you why. There is a group of white people out there that you need to be seriously concerned about. It ain't them type of white folks in Montgomery, Alabama. Y'all want to bring some Wakanda energy out? These are the white people y'all need to be whipping out the Wakanda energy towards. See that picture right there? That's a man by the name of Michael Rubin. And I'm going to break down several white people in high places. And I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all that are watching this video know who these white people are. Some of them you may not be familiar with. But I'm going to let you know who we need to be really bringing that smoke to. When y'all have the Wakanda energy towards these white people, then we can start celebrating. Then we can start making shirts. Then we can start dancing. If we start taking these white people down, I'll be dancing right there with you. Now, Michael Rubin is a major music industry person. You see how he's grabbing on Lil Baby. That was at a recent party. I think it was during the 4th of July. I'm not sure. But Hollywood, you know what they do to these men? The men allow them to do it, of course, because they sell their soul for money and fame. John Cena recently did a movie where he dressed up as a woman. You see him with the stockings on, the heels, a big, swole, muscle-bound former wrestler. I mean, dude is the epitome of masculinity, and you see him going out like this. And it's been countless others. I just happened to have some photos on my computer of a video I did before. These people are demonic. You know, they do all kind of weird stuff. This picture right here, this is actually a human being replica. This is a cake. If you look in the upper part of the photo, you can see parts of the human replica that's been eaten. That's a cake. These people are weird. And I know a lot of y'all are familiar with some of this stuff, but some of y'all are not. Hollywood is a demonic place. The music industry is a demonic industry when you get to certain levels in it. You know, you have to do something strange for a piece of change, as the old saying go. They do all kind of weird rituals. Like, you just wouldn't believe how deep the rabbit hole goes. This next one right here, this is a replica of a human baby. That's a cake, y'all. That's a cake. Why are these people making cakes that look like human beings? Maybe because they eat babies in real life. Maybe because they sacrifice children in real life. I mean, I'm just saying. Some of y'all may have heard this stuff. Some of y'all may have not. Do your research. Everything that's coming out of my mouth is Googleable. Like I said, the elites and these satanic people love it when we fight amongst each other. They love when we're distracted by nonsense. You know, this is what they push on us, and if you call it out, you're the problem. So yeah, I mean, for those of y'all that don't know, that's Mir Abramovich, a Satanist, an open Satanist. But moving on, the devil himself, probably one of the most dangerous men in the world, Bill Gates. I would literally have to do a whole separate video on just him, but just some of the things that he's into. Y'all don't know. He has invested into vaccines. He's openly talked about there are going to be more pandemics. I call them plandemics. This article right here talks about how he wants to do what's called solar geoengineering. Bill Gates literally wants to fly a bunch of planes into the air and spray some type of chemical to block the sun, y'all. To block the sun. The same big ball of gas and fire that drives the Earth's, you know, hydrological cycle, the way the water evaporates and makes the rain fall and the trees and plants and food grow. Yeah, he wants to fool with the sun. Bill Gates is also buying up a whole bunch of farmland. Why? Why is Bill Gates so intent on buying up a bunch of farmland? I don't know. Maybe to control the food supply. One of the most demonic men in the world, I believe he is. So it's a lot of stuff I can say about Bill Gates, but I don't want to make the video too long. Let's move on to this devil right here. She's a demoness. This is a female. Hillary Rodham Clinton. I don't care what none of y'all say. This photo right here, that's a demon face. That's a devil-possessed person. That looks like a demon. You can see a demon in that woman's face. A demon. Hillary Clinton and her husband, Bill, there's a term they came up with called Arkancided. It's a play on the word. The two words Arkansas and suicide. When they were in Arkansas, all of a sudden people just start ending up dead. Just randomly. They say the Clinton body count list is in the dozens. I don't know how true that is, but this article right here, or this snippet from an article came from Ohio State University. All this stuff can be researched, y'all. Basically, you don't want to get on the Clintons' bad side. When they were in Arkansas, when Bill was the governor, and they were both beginning their political careers, there was just all kind of people close to them that just ended up dead. Former aides, former colleagues, just this person just committed suicide. This person over here was found with a bullet in the head at a very strange angle for it to be a suicide, but nothing to see here. I mean, it's a running joke in certain circles. You just don't want to get on the bad side of the Clintons. And if you look closely in this photo, that's a photo of a young Jeffrey Epstein, a younger Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, in the White House. And last but not least, that's Bill Clinton's alleged son. I forgot his name. But yeah, looks like him. And as you can see, he's biracial. We all know Bill Clinton had a philandering problem. He's old now, so he's not doing a whole bunch of screwing these days. So the story says that Bill Clinton laid down with a black female prostitute in Arkansas, knocked her up, and for decades this woman and her son have been trying to get Bill to acknowledge his son, and Hillary Clinton just shuts it down every time. She will not let Bill even remotely investigate to see whether that's his son or not. But I'm not surprised. That's how it goes. You know, you're rich and powerful. You can pretty much do what you want in this country. This right here is Justin Trudeau. For those of you that don't know, that's the Prime Minister / leader of Canada. As you can see, he doesn't look like he, has a lot of testosterone. That's his son. Justin Trudeau is a tyrant, an evil man. He's a globalist. If you remember, I think last year, there was a big uproar in Canada over the mandates, the vaccine mandates. The truckers were banding together, and they had a big show of force. And Justin Trudeau was literally freezing their bank accounts because they didn't want to take the vaccine. And if you think about it, how are truckers spreading COVID when COVID was really out of control? They literally drive in their trucks by themselves and deliver, goods to businesses all across Canada and all across whatever country they're in. Truckers are not, super spreaders, as they like to say. I mean, this is what happens when the wrong people get their hands on power. I mean, it's a lot of things I can say about Justin Trudeau, but just think about that. In Canada, a country to the north of us, just last year, he was freezing their bank accounts, y'all. Freezing their bank accounts because they were protesting and they were going on strike and they were standing up to tyrannical policy. They were standing up to tyranny. Another thing that's going on in Canada right now under Justin Trudeau, they are doing euthanasia in Canada now. Now, Canada's not the only country that does euthanasia. I think some European countries do it as well. But do we really think that it's okay for the government to allow people to inject themselves or have a doctor inject them with a lethal concoction because they don't want to live anymore? And many of the people that want to be euthanized, they have terminal illnesses, they may be living in pain, etc., etc. But that's disturbing, man. That sounds like playing God to me. I just find it very disturbing that our neighbor to the north now allows legalized euthanasia. And one more thing that's going on in Justin Trudeau's Canada is in the province of British Columbia, which is the western province that sits on top of Washington State. There's a city called Vancouver, which is their primary city. It's the biggest city in British Columbia. It's the biggest city in Western Canada. There is a very open and lax drug policy there. They are allowed to just do dope of any kind anywhere in the city. They just shoot up heroin, smoke crack, smoke meth. It's destroying lives. People are overdosing. They just legalized all hard drugs in I don't know if it's the whole country, but definitely in BC, definitely in British Columbia. And it's not panning out too well. The overdoses are just through the roof. And the government in Canada is even considering providing fentanyl, safer fentanyl, to addicts because a lot of the fentanyl in the streets is so cut up with other stuff that it's making people drop like flies. So Justin Trudeau's another evil white man that we need to be concerned about, even though he's not in our country. For those of y'all that don't know, this is Klaus Schwab, a multi-billionaire German man, and he is very, very, very prominent with the World Economic Forum. For those of you that don't know, the World Economic Forum is a body of globalists, bunch of wealthy, old, mostly white people who want to control the world, to simply put it. They believe in telling people how many kids they should have. They want to reduce the world's population. A lot of them are involved in degenerate sexual behavior. A lot of this child sex trafficking is tied to them. A lot of these pandemics, all these viruses that just keep popping up, comes from them. I mean, they have their hands in a lot of stuff. And some of them are tied to the United States, and some of them are over in Europe. So like I said, those white people in Montgomery, Alabama are not who you need to be concerned about. I'm giving you the rundown on who some of the major movers and shakers are. Check this woman out and what she says we need to do.
We need to eat less meat. We need to stop land being used for cattle and growing grain for the billions of animals that we keep in our intensive farms. And then finally, we cannot hide away from human population growth, because You know, it underlies so many of the other problems. All these things we talk about wouldn't be a problem if there was the size of population that there was 500 years ago.
That's a devil telling people how many kids they should have. She wants to reduce the world's population. She said it herself. If you don't want to be completely vegan, they got cricket powder for you. Yeah, it's a real thing. Grinded crickets. They dry them out and grind them into powder. They want you to own nothing and be happy. I mean, guys, this is real stuff. You can look it up. Let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. I got a couple more people. This guy right here, the notorious Dick Cheney. For those of y'all that don't know, Dick Cheney is the former vice president under the George W. Bush administration years ago. So why did I put him on the list or in this video? Is because during the Iraq War, there was a company called Halliburton that he used to be the CEO of before he got into office, and there was a no bid contract worth billions of dollars, as you just saw on the screen, where Halliburton got to rebuild the infrastructure in Iraq. No competition, just a good old crony handout to a multi-billion-dollar corporation that Dick Cheney used to run before he became the notorious vice president under this guy's administration. Good old W. Good old Lion W. One of the worst presidents in American history. He led us into Iraq under false pretenses, as we all know. He said there were weapons of mass destruction there, and there were obviously none. Some estimates say that hundreds of thousands of Iraqis were killed in that war. Some say it was up to 1 million. What did our soldiers die for? What do we spend all that money for? Nothing but the benefit of the globalist. And as we all know, it was 9/11 that led to the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. If you just watch the video clips of those buildings, the way they fell down, they fell like they were just blown up. Some people still believe that it was the planes that brought them down, but those buildings were designed to withstand the impact of an airplane. But do the research, be your own judge. The one smoking gun is the Building 7. Why did Building 7 collapse and it wasn't hit by no plane? Like I said, I don't want to make this video about 9/11, but that all happened under good old W. All of our soldiers that died and all the Iraqis that died, for what?
But when are you going to apologize for the million Iraqis that are dead because you lied? You lied about weapons of mass destruction. You lied about connections to 9/11. You lied about Iraq being a threat. You sent me to Iraq. You sent me to Iraq. You sent me to Iraq in 2003. My friends are dead. Joshua Castile. You killed people. You lied. You lied about WMD. 1 million Iraqis are dead because you lied. My friends are dead because you lied. You need to apologize. Apologize.
Now these slides right here, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I literally had to pause for a minute before I continued this video because I didn't serve in the military. I have family who served, several family members who served. I don't think any of them fought in any wars except for my grandfather. I think he fought in Vietnam, but he survived, thank God. But you see that right there. You see that right there. And what was it for? What did our soldiers go to die for? Greed. That's why. Greed. You heard that soldier telling Bush to apologize and that he lied, and he did. He yelled out, "My friends are dead because you lied." All that death for what? These people don't care about us. These people are demonic and they must be stopped. Moving along, you see what these men are doing. If you don't know what those are what are called poppy plants. If you know anything about what type of drug crisis we have in this problem right now, we're having what's called an opioid epidemic. The key plant that is needed to create opioids are called poppy plants. What is one of the world's largest producers of the poppy plant? Afghanistan. What country have we been fighting in the war in up until recently? Afghanistan. 2001 all the way up into 2022, I believe, is when Joe Biden had the the horrible withdrawal, making us look very, very weak, leaving behind billions of dollars worth of weapons and equipment. Total joke. Like I said, they don't care. We need to join forces. Black, white, Latino, Asian, all of us need to join forces and take these people down before it's too late. I know we don't always get along, but we got to find a way to come together because this is very, very serious. Alright, this right here, as we all know, the notorious Anthony Fauci, Mr. COVID, Mr. Vaccine, Rat-Face Fauci. For those of y'all that don't know, Dr. Fauci was in charge of what's called the NIH, the National Institute of Health. And basically, it is now a known fact that Anthony Fauci was overseeing what was called gain-of-function research regarding the coronavirus, where initially that virus was mainly transmissible from bats to bats and bats to other animals, but they go into the lab and start playing around with stuff. I'm not a chemist, I'm not a scientist, but they basically can trump up the viruses to make them spread from animals to human. So yeah, out in Wuhan, China, where the virus originated, Anthony Fauci was behind the funding to do gain-of-function research. Now just think about all the ramifications that our society and the whole globe has suffered from COVID. A virus that we now know was purposely manufactured in Wuhan, and it spread all over the globe and has killed millions of people and has changed the world forever. And this man from America is responsible, maybe not for the entirety of the COVID pandemic or pandemic, but he had a major role to play in it. And I'm not going to sit here and say too much on the internet, but dude, if our country was half as strong as it was 50 years ago, Anthony Fauci, he'll be someplace else right now. I'll say that right now. He won't be free. His soul may not even exist anymore. I'll just say that. And to start wrapping the video up, this right here says Michigan pronoun law probably unconstitutional. For those of y'all that don't know, the Michigan House in the state legislature, they voted for a law, a proposed law that would make it a felony to misgender someone. Yes, for not calling a transgender by their preferred pronouns, you can be charged with a felony and fined up to $10,000 if this law was to take effect. But it is unconstitutional. I don't think that it's actually going to happen. But this is just what the left is doing. This is Gretchen Whitmer, the current governor of Michigan, and she's on board with this. She's a foot soldier for the globalists. Gretchen Whitmer was also one of the most pro-lockdown governors in the country. Michigan was one of the last states to fully reopen. And we all know what type of long-term ramifications prolonged lockdowns do to people's mental health, kids when it comes to their learning, etc., etc. So, terrible person she is. This is the final person we'll do on today's video. This is George Soros, multi-billionaire. He is, of course, of European descent. I think that he's from Austria, if I'm not mistaken. Or, I'm sorry, Hungary. I think he's Hungarian. So I'm correct. He is from Hungary. And the reason why George Soros matters is because George Soros, he is a person who wants to see America collapse from within, just like all the other globalists do. And one thing that he has been doing, and he's been doing very, very frequently over the past few election cycles, he's been funding some of the most rogue and radical district attorneys in the country. And these district attorneys do not believe in prosecuting criminals the way they should. And what they're purposely doing is allowing these cities to descend into chaos. Atlanta, Philadelphia, Dallas, DC, Baltimore, Oakland, you name them. I mean, all Democrat-run cities are overrun with crime at this point. But all of our nation's district attorneys are not, funded by George Soros. But a lot of them are. And you have to ask yourself, why does George Soros have so much of a vested interest in seeing these cities collapse? Well, if you want to take America down, you got to take America down from within. So I really believe that George Soros is somebody that needs to be stopped as well. I think he spends around $40 million per election cycle just to get these people elected. That's Larry Krasner, the district attorney of Philadelphia. The Republicans in the Pennsylvania House, I believe, voted to impeach him, but the Senate has not proceeded with impeachment yet. So we'll see what happens with that. And then, of course, out in California, you see these signs recall Gaston. Gascon is a horrible district attorney as well, out there in Los Angeles, California. We know how you know, the criminals are just ruling over LA right now. It's just absolutely insane. So, in conclusion, guys, the Montgomery Brawl, like I said, it was you know, a big story. People had fun making memes and shirts and dancing and twerking over it, but these people that I just showed you in this video are just some of the white people that are the true threat. Those white folks down there in Montgomery are nobody compared to these people. These people are the ones we need to be concerned about. They do all kind of crazy rituals. They're involved in human trafficking, sex trafficking. They do all kind of satanic behaviors, and they're crazy. I just showed you some of them and what they've done to destroy our country and the whole globe. They want to spread all kind of viruses so people can die off. They want to reduce the world's population. They want to tell you what to eat. They want to tell you how to, you know, live your life. They want to tell you what kind of car to drive. They want total control, and it's up to us to get our heads out of the sand, stop fighting amongst each other, and start fighting them. Because if we keep letting them have their way, it's going to be game over for all of us. I don't care what race you are. You know, they want to have a digital currency where they can control what you buy, so they can monitor what you buy, how much what you buy. I can go on and on and on. And I know a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to make this video because the Montgomery Brawl was taken way too seriously. And we need to be taking these people seriously. These are the white people that we need to be concerned about. A lot of white people are concerned about these people. So that lets you know that they're a threat. And I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure y'all subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what y'all thought. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.